It is now in session.
Whee!
Yay.
Okay, cool. So how are you ladies today?
Good.
You
How
look
are you?
you look beautiful.
Great. How
Okay.
are you doing with the after the accident, Jules?
I feel like everything's good, but like one random day, it'll be like the accident just happened yesterday as far as
Oh
like
wow.
soreness with my neck. It's so weird. But so
Mm,
like it's fully fine. I have full mobility. It's just random days. It's like we're not gonna work today.
mm,
But yeah, I'm good.
That's
mm.
good. Okay, so what about what we're reading? What are you
Okay,
guys reading now?
I think you two should go first because when it comes to me, I'm gonna really try to not take up the whole time because I have so much to say. So
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
Melissa goes first.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm on Crescent City, the first one. Um, I have finished part one, which is only like a few chapters, so I'm in part two. Like, it really did pick up. So, spoiler alert, like, spoiler alert. Oh, wow. Like, I was not expecting that. Danica,
Danica.
like, and the whole crew, like the whole pack, just like, you know, but it did remind me a lot of, Throne of Glass. Like SJM, All Hail the Queen, has a lot of things that she like does in the same books. Like the fact that she died on the bed again, right?
Wait,
Which one are you talking about? Who died on the bed in Throne of Glass?
wait,
The
wait.
hangman.
Oh,
No, no,
oh,
no.
right.
This
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, this
Okay,
happens
good. I
like
was
way in
really,
the
I
first
was
one.
scared.
Yeah, no. No spoilers.
Right, right, right,
Oh
right,
my
right.
God, I'm
Yeah.
so scared.
No. Don't worry. I'm like, I'm fully aware. Um, but yeah, so that was a bit shocking. Very different this book. I am enjoying it. I have to keep going though, but that's me. Yeah. How about you, Helen?
I'm reading Daughter of No Worlds.
Okay.
Can you guys see that properly?
Yeah.
Anyway, so far, about a third in or a fourth in, and uh, eh. But see, this is the thing. The serpents that I was reading last week turned out to be. I mean, I read those two books so quickly. I loved them, and I'm not into vampires, but somehow she pulled me, and she's a good writer. What's her name?
Carissa.
Carissa Broadbent. Yeah, I'm not enjoying that yet, but I'm sure I will. Okay, so Juliet.
Okay, so I had spring break this week. Finally finished the tandem reads. So,
Yay!
Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn.
Okay.
And oh my God, literally so much, so many thoughts. I went through so many emotions, and I don't think it's the emotions that you guys would think. 'Cause-
Okay.
but I'll explain. Okay, first of all, Kale gets married. He's like one of my favorite people ever. So I was like, I was gonna cry. Love. Okay. So that was like number one. That was the first thing I wrote when I wrote my notes for this. For also the Tower of Dawn. I can't believe that an heir was chosen. Like I just like wasn't expecting that. But also I'm not a reader that picks up on like foreshadowing and like I
I don't
don't
think
pick up on
anybody
stuff.
picked up on that. That seems pretty random to me as well.
Okay, okay, cool. Okay. I didn't know if it was just me because most of the time it's just me.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah, I can't
people
believe
usually find it after, like they'll do a reread and then they'll see it, or somebody else will point it out because they've
look,
been through it.
that's
It's
true, but there have been times where I've been talking to someone about a certain book or whatever, and I'll be like, "Oh my God!" Like, and I didn't know like this happened. They were like, "I knew that was gonna happen," and then they like give me. Then they're not just saying it. They pull out proof like on this page or on and this when this happened, this blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just like slow, I guess. But
You're not
So
anyway,
true.
slow.
yeah.
You're
Every
just
So
time,
go
every
ahead,
time
Helen.
you tell me stuff, you'll say something like, "Oh, I don't know yet, but I think this is going to happen." And you've said that so many
okay,
times,
no, no, no,
and
wait,
you're
wait, wait, wait.
always right. You're always right.
When I say that to you, it's stuff I've seen already on Instagram. That's why it's not coming from me.
No, that's not
No, really,
true.
I
You don't.
swear.
You're discounting yourself.
But
Yeah, you should give
anyway,
Okay,
yourself
what
okay.
more
else? You were
credit.
gonna.
I bet you can pick up things. But okay, so Cole and then,
Yeah, Kale's married, and Air was
oh,
chosen. Super shocked by that. Yeah, Kale. Okay. I wasn't invested at all with Sartak or Nezrin as separate
at all.
characters or like, yeah. But then I thought it was really cute how like he like went to tell her and then she was like gonna bow and he was like, no, never from you. And I was like, oh my God, I love that.
It was cute. It was cute, but like I could have
Yeah.
like I was so uninvested in them. Yeah.
One thing that I thought, it's just a super side note, but in Empire of Storms, one thing that I thought was super interesting was that Rowan still kind of chooses to see himself as a consort rather than king, even though technically he's a king. Like there was one line where I was like, I just thought that was very, I don't know, I thought that was interesting. Which leads
Mm.
me on another thought of mine, and I could be wrong, but this is how I feel. I feel like Rowan as a character, and we'll dive into this at some point later.
Yeah.
But I feel like Rowan as a character is like he doesn't have a personality. He really doesn't. He
Stop!
doesn't. He
Oh my
doesn't.
God.
Like literally,
Let's
this is it.
stop. Let's
He
stop.
he
I need
just
to gather myself.
he just loves her and like therefore is like protective of her. He's just like really good at combat and stuff, and he's just this like brooding guy. Like that's it. That's Rowan. There's nothing to Rowan but that.
Am I getting punked?
That's
Like, is somebody gonna jump out? Like, what is even happening right now? I feel like this needs to be a topic then, okay?
Yeah, yeah. We will
At
touch
some
on
point.
this for
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
I
And then
totally
another
agree.
thing with who that we have to talk about later, or you agree with me or Melissa?
I think Rowan is one of the least um,
Three
I don't know,
dimensional.
attractive uh or three-dimensional MMCs in every book that I've read. I mean, I never think of him as like, ooh, Rowan. No, I never do. I never did.
Me
I
too.
think you and I talked about this when you were talking, and I was like, just give it time, because I don't want to say anything when you were
Mm.
still reading,
This
right?
was like
But
way back. Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, for me, I understand the attraction between the two because they're so much alike, but he's not attractive to me in any way.
Have I
In
stepped into an
any way.
alternate universe? Like, what is happening? Like, Rowan, I actually thought about this on last episode when we were talking about like our favorite SJM characters of all, like throughout universes. Like, I'm like, why didn't I say Rowan? Because I love Rowan.
Well, you actually.
Love
Why do you like,
Rowan.
but why? Why do you
He
love him so much?
it's just like from the moment he jumped on the page, it was like perfect. And it wasn't like physical. Like, I'm not into the face tats and the white hair. It wasn't that. It was just the fact that it didn't start romantic. Like, okay, why do I love him?
That's a
It's,
whole episode on its own.
yeah, I think it's a whole episode on
Yeah.
its own. I think we'll discuss that, but I am so shocked by this.
Well,
I'm,
okay. I
yeah.
know, and there are totally people who agree with you, like 100%.
Mm, yeah.
We will have a whole episode on
Okay.
MMCs for just Throne of Glass, like we will. But let
Okay.
me finish like my thoughts for
Yeah.
the tandem reads.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I get why Elite is mad at Lorcan, but I'm kind of like annoyed by it. I just think it's stupid. but I get it, but I also hate it. And
But
then
why
my,
do you think she's mad?
well,
Oh,
I
she's
think
mad.
Yeah,
she's
but why? Why do you think she's mad, Jules?
I think Alid is upset with Lorcan. No, no, no. She's not actually upset with Lorcan. She's actually upset at finding out how ingrained he is. Or not ingrained. What's the word, guys? He's like his devotion to Maeve.
So
Like
she's just jealous, right?
and I think she was caught off guard, even though she knew. I don't think she really understood the severity of that situation.
I think she was disgusted, to be honest. I think she was disgusted to see like
Yeah, I think that
Rowan,
too.
not Rowan, Lorcan's, what he did on that beach. But yeah, okay, that's interesting
Mm.
to know. Yeah, you'll have to keep reading,
Hmm.
Jules. Okay.
No, I will. Okay. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. And then the thing about the wave of emotions is that when Aelin was being tortured, and I know it only lasted like, I don't know, it doesn't even matter how, because I as a human being, I can't deal with torture. And I thought that it was just with like TV shows, like listening to it and seeing it, but apparently reading it, I can't either. So I learned something new about myself. So I full on was like thinking that this torture on the beach was gonna like be,
Hmm.
or the torture was gonna continue until the very end of the book. So I was telling myself like, okay, like don't finish it. Just look up like a summary of the end of the book because I can't do torture. I can't. And
Oh
the
God.
the emotions I was going through was anger because I was mad that she's forcing me to read this. And then also my other thought was, I know this for a fact. If I had read Throne of Glass first before ACOTAR or CC, I would not have read the other series. I
It's
just
very
wouldn't have.
different.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm worried about Kingdom of Ash because like literally even the title, like people are gonna die and I'm scared. So yeah,
Mm.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
people are gonna die. It's gonna be it's like the thickest book. There's definitely war. Like it's gonna happen, and so I'm not prepared for that. Which also I'm upset because now I'm gonna take like 5 months to read Kingdom of Ash because I just like am gonna plot dodge and procrastinate.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God, the
that's
plot dodging is hilarious. I didn't know that was
that's
a thing until you told
no,
me.
I do that a lot. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's where
Well,
I'm
but
at.
you have to know Juliet because she doesn't watch TV shows that are, anxiety ridden either. She
It's
just
Yeah.
comedies or
can't.
nothing.
Yeah, so explain that to us, Jules. Is it the fact that like the torture, for example, like you're just uncomfortable reading it or it makes you like anxious or what is it? What's the emotion?
Okay, so I know that I'm a highly sensitive person. HSP, you guys
Yeah.
can like look that up later. But like I I think it's that slash being too much of an empath. I don't know. I don't even
But
know how to put.
can you disassociate that it's like not real or
No, I
oh,
can't.
okay, that's
I don't
interesting.
know how people do that.
See, I'm like that when it comes to like true crime or things like that. Like I don't watch true crime because this actually
It's like
happened, right?
yeah,
So if it's like they're reenacting it, it's like, yeah, but that those horrible things that happened have actually happened. But when it's like a book or something, I can totally disassociate and be like, it's just fantasy. Like
oh my god, I
it,
can't.
yeah, okay. Okay. Well, interesting.
And I'm somewhere in the middle because I do not like it, and I
Hmm.
kind of do a fast read through them, so I
Hmm.
don't pick up the little things.
Hmm.
Um, but no, it's definitely because it makes me too anxious. And I have a belief, I've always felt this way. Um, in Persian, there's a saying, and it's a little bit crass, but it's don't prick yourself in the balls uh, and then say ouch, you
Hmm.
know? And so I'm like, that's how I feel. I'm like, why for entertainment would I upset myself and make myself anxious?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, And so I avoid shows, or even like, that's why I didn't like vampires, because it's too much. It's
Too
Mm.
too
much
much for me.
gore.
Too much gore,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
too much nastiness,
I mean,
lack of control, that kind of thing.
I also think that we read and we watch shows and movies and whatever to escape, right? Like, why do I want to escape to this like dystopian, like I just want
Terribleness.
to
Yeah.
relax. I just want to make me laugh. You can make me cry, but like happy cry.
Hmm. Well, this it kind of it makes me question like, how did you feel reading A Court of Silver Flames when Nesta gets dropped into that ritual on the mountain?
I have a
I,
confession.
I was,
What?
you what?
So I have a confession
Oh my God, no, you didn't. You did
because
You
not.
didn't read it?
basically like the moment that it's Nesta who finds that the two were taken, right? Or the guys find that the three were taken. So basically, the moment she wakes up and realizes it, I think I skimmed. I was like, nope, nope, can't do this, can't do this. I skimmed it. I skimmed it
You
until I
did
saw
not.
Cassian. I saw Cassian. I was like, okay, okay, things are gonna be fine. It's okay. I just read.
Oh my God.
I could definitely see Julia doing that. I don't. I kind of had faith in Nesta. I saw her as a heroine there,
But I
and I
also felt
thought,
like the whole thing was a lead up to that moment. Like,
I think so too. And I was
yeah,
like, yeah, she's going to prove herself. She's
yeah,
going to prove herself to herself,
yeah,
like, and she's going to win this.
yeah.
I had no problems with that one.
Yeah, but it was super anxiety producing, like when she was like standing at the arch and not letting them through and doing like I had so many emotions, like, oh my God, like I start just speaking out loud and my husband was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing's wrong. It's just like intense, but then I like immediately have to go back and be like, I need to know what happened. But that's so funny, Jules, that you're
I
so
think I think that's
different.
what I should have. Yeah, that's what I should have done though. I should have when I finished the book. I should have
Yeah,
gone back knowing everything's gonna be fine. Should have
yeah,
gone back and actually like read those chapters. I think I will at some point.
yeah,
I'm just very committed to this finishing Throne of Glass,
yeah,
finishing CC. Yeah,
yeah, okay.
I
yeah.
think you'd actually enjoy it, knowing that everything's okay, because she does good.
It's actually
Yeah.
so good.
She,
It's some of the best chapters. Yeah,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. I totally agree. You know what else though that I wanted to point out about Juliet? She, I think I said that I read Twilight because she wanted me to, and then I would tell her stuff, and then she started like watching the movies, and then she refused to go past a certain point
Hmm.
because she was a Jacob fan.
Okay.
She was shipping them, not the
So because they
vampire.
weren't
So,
endgame, you stopped?
yep,
That
she
is
stopped. She
so
never
funny.
went past
I
it.
also have to say that Ethan had never seen the movies, and so we sat down to watch them. Like I don't know, maybe last year. And
Yeah.
again, the moment that like he still hasn't seen the last movies because I haven't because I don't want to and I will never.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Like, I love Jacob.
So
I
like
was team Jacob as well, but like, yeah, they're
no,
not endgame.
Jacob was my first like he was my first love period. Like and slash Taylor Lautner. Like I will always love him forever. So
This is
yeah.
part of her vengefulness, that she's like,
Oh,
this didn't happen, canceled. The
oh my
rest of
God.
it is
You're
yours.
done.
I'm actually so scared. Like, if anything were to happen, this is actually making me scared.
If we were filming this episode right when I finished that torture scene on the beach, I would straight up tell you guys I'm not finishing this book. I'm not finishing this series. This is over. Goodbye.
Oh my God. I
That's
think like I'm
how
actually super worried, Helen, for her for going forward.
No, but the thing
No,
is that like
you can imagine how Ethan feels.
this is
Oh,
the
I didn't
thing.
mean in life. I just mean with the books, but yeah, that too.
I am expecting Kingdom of Ash to be very difficult for me. I was not expecting Empire of Storms to be difficult. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, okay. I think you need to go into
I
that
hope.
mindset with it. Like, it's
Yeah,
gonna be difficult. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you need to
but
finish.
the reason she finished actually is because she was feeling this way, and she called me up, and I was like, okay, if it's too difficult, just ask Chat GPT to just give you a small
So
summary of
Oh
yeah.
my God, I
And
didn't
because
realize it was
I
this
know this stuff.
sad.
Yeah. So, but then I said, but everything will be okay. Just go ahead. And then she somehow went through it and finished
wait,
it.
I have something to say that I just remembered. Okay, when I was like, God, I don't remember what book it was. It was an earlier book. Um,
Yeah,
I chose Team Kale, and by Team Kale, I don't mean who Selena or like whoever should be with, right? I just mean like Team Kale for life. Okay, like
yeah,
Team
okay.
Jacob for life, but not as much. Okay. There was. I just remember that there was a moment in time where I called her up. I called my mom up, and I was like, "You need to tell me right now. I need a spoiler right now. Does Kale make it through the whole series because I can't do this. I can't." And then I was like, "You have to tell me right now." And she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like,
Oh my God.
what do you, I remember you said he makes it out unscathed or something like that. You said something like,
Yeah, okay.
and I
Wow,
was like,
I would
"Okay,
be.
fine. I'll
See, I think it's great, like when a big character gets killed off, like if it's in some epic way, right? Like I get it. Sometimes you have your characters that like you're rooting for and things like that. But that is so funny, Jules, that you're this way. I didn't know how deep it was, which kind of
it's
like makes me like I can truly, truly, truly see now how much you love Ethan because you told me that when both of you, Ethan, aka Jules' husband, aka my cousin, because when you guys started dating, one of the things you guys would do together was watch the Squid Games. The Squid Games, which I
that
haven't even watched because
that
I'm like,
just
oh, that's too much gore for me.
look, that's how much he didn't even know how I felt about him. Slash, he didn't know how I felt about, like torture and watching this stuff.
Yeah,
That's how much I wanted to spend time with him. I was like,
but that
whatever it is, we need to be hanging out. I need to be around him. I know he's sitting in
but
that room
that's what I
watching right
mean.
now.
I'm like, it's incredible. It's incredible to see like how much Jules put all of that aside, right? And to like spend time with Ethan and watch the Squid Game. It's crazy. Like it's just like getting to know you better and knowing this side about you
I
and
can't
then
believe you
knowing
remember
how
that.
that's yeah, I did because I'm like, oh my God, how did this girl watch Squid Games? Like, but now I know why. So
I
Ethan, there you go.
I felt, yeah, no, he knows very much how much I love him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
it's kind of scary the way she loves him. It's, no, seriously, you should know Juliet from my eyes. She never had a boyfriend.
Mm.
She didn't like anybody. She was like, I'm never getting married.
Mm. Oh,
I'm,
really?
yeah,
oh yeah, she was
yeah.
just like, didn't think that was ever going to be in her cards.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so I had kind of accepted that. And then the kinds of things that happened with Ethan, I'm like, what the hell?
Miracles do
How
come.
did this happen?
Miracles
Mm.
happen.
And Melissa, you have
Yeah.
no idea. I, I don't want to get into details because those details are like shocking for my whole family.
I have
But
Really?
no
um,
Oh my
idea.
God, we have to share this. Oh my God, this is so funny.
okay. All right. So this is what happened.
Yeah.
What's the name of it? The phobia that you have?
With feet?
Yeah.
Oh, podophobia.
What?
Podo, podophobia.
Photophobia.
They are disgusting. I hate them.
What
Anytime,
is
like,
it?
when you're like podophobia, the
Feet.
fear of feet.
Feet. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really fear. I just think they're the most disgusting. Like, I don't know why God created them. Sorry, God. It's disgusting.
Okay, so she doesn't like her feet being touched, or in some way, like if my foot touches her
Mm,
body in any way, she's like, "Ugh," she just like pulls away. So this is her fear, right? And we
yeah.
we all know it. The family understands this,
Mm,
okay? So we were talking a few months ago, and she was telling me about this. What is it? The file, nail file of some sort that she's found, and she was like, "Oh, this is so good, blah blah blah." um I even use it on Ethan, and I was like, What?" you, and yeah, and like, his feet. She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What? What?"
so you're fine
She
touching
gives him
Ethan's feet. You give him
she
pedicures?
gi- she gives him pedicures.
Oh my God, Jules, you are hilarious.
And I'm
Look,
like,
look, I
"Wow."
still don't like feet,
But his
but
are
I love
fine.
him. I love him. That's
Okay,
super
so
off topic.
yeah, we
Yeah.
have,
Okay.
but let's do this. Maybe we can talk about, in this particular episode, it's something that kind of annoys me about the Queen. Sarah, I'm sorry, but there's some things that are a little annoying,
No one's
Mm,
and
perfect.
it's nobody's perfect, yes, but the weak plots. Okay, let's start with the big one. Okay,
Third book.
why in the third book? Yeah,
Yeah.
why would you kill Rhys?
mm.
Okay, to me that was a cheap ploy. It was kind of, um I can't even think of the word, but it was like there was no reason for it. um Julia has a reason. It's like an outcome. I understand that part. You want to talk about this,
Yeah. So,
Juliet?
like, I'm not saying that Rhys should have been killed off and then brought back, but I'm wondering if the reason that she chose to do that was to give Tamlin the very beginning of a redemption arc. Because maybe SJM,
Mm.
all hail, kind of saw the hate online for Tamlin for like those two books and was like, I need to maybe do something so he's like not as hated. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
wait.
know.
I have a
I
question. Do we think the plot was weak in the fact that she killed him or that she killed him and brought him back immediately?
Both, really, because there was no reason for him that to happen. The war was kind of done,
Mm.
right?
Well,
And
he died
it
because, just remind me, it was because of the power. Like he was like giving power
he
to, yeah,
yeah,
to
Yeah,
Feyre.
he overdid it.
he was giving power to Feyre because Feyre was like, wasn't she repairing the cauldron?
Yeah, I didn't think that was bad. I thought that was good. What I thought was stupid is that he came back to life. And
Well,
and
both.
and to be honest, the moment he was giving her the power, like I knew when he died, he wasn't going to be dead for long. Like I knew it for a fact. I never saw his death as, which yeah, goes to show like it was
It's
it
lazy. It
yeah,
is lazy.
it is weak, like a weak plot because I was like he's not dead. Like I never once felt emotional about it because I'm like he's not dead.
You
Yeah.
know, that's
Same
actually
here.
that's very interesting because of the way that I am. Being a highly sensitive person, I remember when I was reading the third book, I wasn't like I didn't for a moment put the book down when I saw that he had died and
Mhm.
worry if he was gonna come back. I remember just being like, wait, what? Like no way. Like I just like
Yeah.
wasn't dis
I don't think anybody believes it, especially after what happened to Feyre, you know?
Exactly, but that's what I think. That's why I think it's a very, like a ploy. Like, it shouldn't have happened. He could have been just weak, you know. And then bringing him back was the ridiculous thing.
Hmm.
It
look.
was totally ridiculous.
I
And let me tell you why I think so.
okay.
I think that, with when she did this with Feyre,
Hmm. It
the
made sense.
she had it made sense that all these people would give a drop,
Mhm.
right? All these high lords would bring her back to life with a drop.
Yeah.
The
Okay, that
kernel
makes
of
sense. But
power.
at this point, they know that she's got a little bit of all their powers,
Hmm.
right? So
Mhm.
why in the world would they also bring him back to life? I can understand some of them, but not all of them.
Especially Autumn Court.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and knowing that there's a possibility that he's going to be even more powerful than
Hmm.
he has been so far. It just doesn't make sense.
yeah, I agree
Am
with
I
that.
wrong?
No, I agree with that. I
Well,
agree with that. I thought it was because they were grateful that he prevented the end of the world with the cauldron, but yeah, like
It's weak.
it's
It's
weak. It
very
for
is weak.
weak.
me, for me, that wasn't the moment that I thought was weak. Probably okay. Well, probably because I was like, oh my god, thank God he's not dead. But also, when they did, because didn't Amryn also die? And then like he also brought Amryn back to like I was like, really?
No
Like
one dies.
so?
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Like I
Except
mean,
the
okay,
two gods, or
they're not gods. You're talking about
whatever. Yeah,
the Weaver
the Weaver
and
and
the
the Bone
Bone
Carver.
Carver.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like some people did that, yeah. But like I feel like the inner circle could have lost one person like that. Like it's okay if Amryn died. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's weak that no one dies. Like even when Cassian was about to die and then Nesta calls him, like I can see that being a save. But Amryn not dying, like Amryn floating off, what was she, a bird or something? Like she was some sort of like phoenix or some fire thing. I don't even know. And then all of a sudden she pops back up from the cauldron as like
Yeah.
more of a human. The human part, I was like, okay, but yeah, like I think somebody needs to die. I really do.
It's not just that. It's just it's weak. It's lazy. So what? They die. They don't need to die, but if they die, let them die. They don't need to come back.
It just feels like that she's avoiding killing off anybody, and maybe it's because she has more books that she wants to write. So,
Yeah, see, that's the reason that I'm wondering because you know in Throne of Glass she brought back like characters from like even Assassin's Blade. You know, like everyone had a purpose. So I'm
mhm.
thinking that if didn't kill off someone in the inner circle, there's like yeah.
Well, we already know that that's going
Uh,
to happen. I mean,
wait.
no, I know. Uh,
Okay.
I,
I'm so
whatever. I can understand the reason, but I don't think it's a reason. I think it's a tool. She didn't have to kill her in the first place.
I think
You
she
know what I'm
has,
saying?
and this is just like total speculation, but I think she has a problem letting go of her characters, and she can't kill them off. Like truly, I think that's what it is. Because
But
how?
she killed the dad.
Yeah,
She
but we
killed the
barely
dad.
read about the dad.
bad.
Well, who like we didn't really know about the dad. We didn't read about him. He wasn't in a lot. Like it was neither here nor there. But like I feel like Amryn could have been a goner. Cassian could have been a goner. Like
No.
no, he could have, but not that saying that I want him to, but he could have.
Don't even put that because it is somehow butterfly effect and somehow it happens. I don't
I don't
know.
think he will
Did,
anymore.
didn't
Like his
Cass
story's done.
didn't Cassian die or almost die before, like by the cauldron? Remember
What do you
before the
Oh
girls went
yes,
into the
yes.
cauldron?
His
Yeah.
wings
So
were
this is
like
like the second
shattered.
time.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. And then that actually wait. Okay. Do you remember when Elaine was kind of like, she was like in that
Loopy. Yeah.
yeah, she was loopy. She was like seeing the future but not really making sense. And
Mhm.
then there was like a scene where like they were talking and Cassian was like, "Oh, I'll take more than something something to kill me." And she was like, "No, it won't." And I was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
"No,
Yeah,
wait."
yeah. But I think that was her foreseeing like when he's on the battlefield or something.
She
And
was
obviously Nesta saved him. Was that after?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Look, I
That
don't
was it.
remember when it was, but I'm worried that she knows how he's gonna die.
I think she knows a lot. I think we haven't heard from Elaine. Like we spoke about this last episode.
Oh,
We haven't heard from Elaine, and I think she's a cauldron of secrets. So we shall see.
yeah, that's gonna be a good book.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the weak plots, but I guess we can go back to Rhys himself. We touched it last time, Juliet. You brought up that he was different in the fifth book, and so I think that's also a little weak to me. The plot of the physique of, well, two things. One is the way Reese acts in the fifth book, and the second is the anatomy of a pregnant woman um in that book. Let's start with a Reese being different. Okay.
Well, look, the first three books was really in Feyre's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, even though the Court of Silver Flames was third
Nesta.
person, that's correct, right?
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Because the first, yeah, Feyre's was all first person, and then suddenly when we get Nesta's book, it's third person. I'm wondering if, since it's Nesta's perspective and she does not like Reese, that maybe that's the reason he comes off as more or like overly protective and like just like negative things we start seeing in
Yeah,
Reese.
I was gonna ask, so what's the shift? So before we saw him as like perfect, and now we're seeing him with some flaws. Like, what's the shift? Because I always
I
saw him
just realized
bad, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I just realized like we're
I'm like
this is
completely
like
confused.
okay, so basically, I think me and mom, and I think most of the world,
Sure.
except you,
Hmm.
think that, with the exception of bits in the first book, that Reese is protective, but like lets Feyre be her own person,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
she has a say in things, and he wants like to make decisions with her, not for her, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, but then suddenly in A Court of Silver Flames, when she's pregnant, he doesn't even tell
Um,
her that it's going to kill her.
yeah. Okay.
And
Okay.
the
Yeah.
whole inner circle knows. Um, and he's like, don't tell
Well,
her. Like,
well, well, well.
but look, it's probably because this book is
So
Nesta's
when Reese
perspective.
was
And
getting what he wanted, it was he was all, oh, you can choose since I know you're gonna choose what I want. But when she's pregnant, right, and it's like, oh, actually, this is what's happening. Oh, I am so shocked.
but look, it's probably in that perspective because Nesta and him butt heads.
What
So she's
perspective? What perspective? He put a
the
full on
book.
like cast on her and wouldn't let her like, leave the house and do anything. Whereas here we have Tamlin who didn't do a full on
No, no,
armor
no,
around
wait.
her.
No, no, no. Reese practicing oh my God, what is it called? The protective, like, shield. Yeah.
Yeah, the shield.
Practicing that shield was to see, he was practicing. That's the word. He's seeing, like,
Hmm.
how can I help? She still was able to, like, go out and do things. She literally sat on the steps with Cassian. Like,
Yeah, in his
but
house.
but
no, no,
but
no. House of the Wind.
Yeah, which was Tamlin's house. Well, sorry, which was Reese's house. Like,
Yeah, but
oh,
Reese wasn't
wow.
there.
Wow, like
Oh my
no,
God.
no,
I
no, no,
literally.
no. This is exactly the hypocritical things I'm saying. Like Reese is practicing a full-on body shield. Tamlin didn't do a full-on body shield. Just said, hey, like maybe don't go outside where there's like really dangerous things. And Reese is like, I'm gonna do a full-on body shield when you go to our secondary home to visit my head warrior, right? The head of my military.
Lord of
But yeah,
Bloodshed.
like you're like so like free will, like God, free
Okay,
will.
we clearly know how you and I feel. Mom, thoughts?
okay. You know how Tamlin imprisoned Feyre in the second book,
Yeah,
right? By and it was what, 5 minutes
not
before she
even.
got out?
5 seconds. Yeah.
What did he end up doing to Nesta? What did Rhys do to Nesta? Both Rhys and Feyre, by the way, they imprisoned her.
Yep. Yep.
They imprisoned her for how many months? For how
Because she
long?
was being stupid.
So was Feyre.
Oh,
Like, so was
oh.
Feyre.
No, she wasn't.
Feyre wanted to go
Either way,
outside while there was a actual danger present to her. She had no
What danger?
training.
What danger? What
That's the
danger?
thing. The unknown, Amarantha, like, was just out.
Oh my god. Well then, no
Oh
one
no,
can
she
go
was dead.
outside ever because
Was she dead?
no one
Yeah,
can
she
go.
was dead.
no,
But
she was dead. No, it was,
but her
they were still
lackeys.
fighting.
Yeah.
Well,
They
but
were
then no
always
one can go
fighting.
outside ever because unknown.
Wait. Why was it that it was dangerous? He was going around. Still, there were problems, and him and Lucian, they were going in there fighting. They were fighting with all kinds of I don't know what. They were
Feyre,
going out every day, coming back, all bloody and whatever.
It's like
So,
it's like being in a war zone. It's like, oh yeah, I want to go take a stroll, and you're in some war-torn country versus, oh, I'm gonna go take a stroll here, in sunny Melbourne today. It's like it's very different. It's like, sure, hey, like I have a concern that about you taking a stroll when we actually live in a city full of landmines versus, here. That's why it frustrates me when I hear people saying, oh, Tamlin like locked her up and she just wanted to go outside. Yeah, she wanted to go outside when there was full of landmines.
I have
but this
something to
is
say.
okay.
Okay. I can admit that Feyre and Rhys, yeah, they locked Nesta up basically. Okay, true. Okay. But listen, Rhys was not okay with Feyre being locked up, and he's her mate. Okay? Just 1 second. Hold on to that. Cassian was fine because he understood how stupid Nesta was being. So it's like,
Exactly.
it's.
No, not Julia. I think
So
we
it's
agree with
okay.
you. What I'm saying is like sometimes you're a danger to
It's
yourself.
necessary.
Yeah, sometimes you're a danger to yourself. Nesta was acting as a danger to herself. So the people in her life who cared about her, right, put her in a controlled environment and situation where she could not be of harm to others or to herself. And I think that same logic should be applied to Tamlin and Feyre.
You got it, girl. I mean,
You go, girl.
ca- case case dismissed.
I'm sorry, but do you guys agree with me that potentially the reason that we see Rhys with more negative qualities is because we're kind of seeing everything happen through Nesta's eyes now?
Well, probably. I mean, if you look at even the first book, and you see Reese initially through Feyre's eyes, he
Yeah, it's
is
like,
nasty. He's
Hmm.
nasty. You know, when he discovers her being glamored
Yeah,
while he's speaking to Lucian and Tamlin,
yeah.
he's really nasty. I mean, I marked it, so I can read it to you right now if you want. But he even like goes in her mind and claws in her mind, right? So yeah, he's great with Dolores and his people, but to everybody else, he's kind of nasty. And it kind of also applies to Nesta because she's been nasty. He feels justified in being nasty right back to her.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I think
definitely.
Nesta's the
He's
only one that's not like enamored by him about one romantically, okay, sure, Feyre, but also about his power, his, friends. Like she doesn't care about any of it. She's like, I didn't want this. I truly don't care about anything you have around you. You've locked me up. And he did. He did. He locked her up and he's so mean to Nesta. He's so rude
yep,
to her. So much so that
that's
yep,
it's the
true.
only time that Feyre and Rhysand like get into fights. It's because of Nesta.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
But
I think he's been nasty throughout. But obviously
Okay.
I'm biased, but like he was so nasty when he went to Tamlin's house to just to check in on him. He wanted to gloat, like, and then sure he saw how bad of a state he was. But the when he goes to his own court, the court of nightmares, and that's the way everybody knows him. Like there's moments we see Rhys being nasty, but it's always on purpose. But I think with Nesta, it's the first time we see him being nasty within his like sanctuary.
See, he was even not the nicest person in the summer court. They wanted that book or whatever it was that they were looking
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
but it was all very deceptive, and he kind of pushed this agenda, and they were nasty to a possible ally and a good guy,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So Reese, no, he's great to Feyre most of the time.
Mhm.
But he's kind of just a strategically inclined lord. He's cunning, he's all of
Yeah.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look at him in, without bias, then yeah, the nastiness is there. And I love Reese. I do.
Mhm.
I'm a fan. I would take him. I'd probably take Tamlin too. I don't know.
I'll take
We'll
Rowan.
see about that. No, but Rowan is to me, again, in Persian, I was originally, that was my mother tongue, right? So in Persian, we say must, which is yogurt. And when somebody is kind of just meh,
Bland.
we say bland, we say they're must.
I cannot believe you think this. Can we discuss it? Like maybe we discuss it on a separate episode. I don't know, but
No, we will be discussing this. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
So we don't
definitely.
touch on it now. You know,
But
can I just say this one thing? Here in Australia, there's like this road, and it's called Rowan's Road. And I took a picture of it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to send it to the girls, thinking you all loved Rowan. And here I am, and here I discover you all hate Rowan.
No,
no,
no.
no,
We
no, we don't hate
Oh,
him.
you just
no,
think
I
he's
don't
we
hate
mad.
I
You
him.
think he's mad. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just meh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
she
Yeah.
thinks he's yogurt.
Yeah.
I I think he's not three-dimensional as a
Mhm.
character in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about that last bit where Farah's pregnant and they don't know what's going to happen because she can't give birth without dying.
Mm.
Okay, and
And
I and go ahead.
if
And what?
she dies, he dies.
He dies. That's right.
That's
That's right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So um, so I
You
think
said so, sorry,
what?
Melissa said that's ridiculous, and I was like, that's probably literally what Amryn said about like when she found out that they like bound their lives together or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, you
It's like
sound like Amber.
it's so ridiculous. Like talk about like what we were just talking about before. Talk about making your entire personality your love interest. Like there you go.
Okay, so I think that there is an issue altogether. Again, it's a very weak plot issue. To me, it's very weak. She's a shapeshifter.
I know.
Why can't she just shift something inside of her to be able to give birth? Or just
Yeah.
have a C-section, for God's sakes. Just get it out. Um,
Yeah.
it just the whole plot is very lazy to me. It's very weak. You could have taken that entire thing out and nothing would be different
Yeah,
in the
that's true.
book.
Not
Yes.
true.
Mm.
That's not true because Nesta gives the thing she took from the cauldron back to the cauldron so that
Mm.
she and Feyre could have babies that have wings.
Okay, and then why did she not do that for Elaine as well?
Because Elaine doesn't
So
deserve that. Elaine has a mate. Elaine has
Elaine,
a mate.
Elaine's mate doesn't have wings. Don't put that in the universe. There's no as
yeah,
we're
but
not.
but
There's no
like
need.
I don't know. It's very weak. It's
I
weak,
think it
guys.
does. I think it is explained why she doesn't shift while pregnant.
Is
And if
it?
they said that, yeah, it does. It says that it would cause harm to the baby if she shape shifted because they were like, oh, she could just
Oh,
shift into having wings, so she would be like a Larian. And they're like, no, it's too far along. She can't do it. Um, so that explains why she
too
couldn't.
well, but that's also weird because they knew she was pregnant way before. She could have done it early. They
She
know that Illyrians can't give. I
she
mean, non-Illyrians can't give
Yeah, but she
birth.
also the moment in a court of Frost and Starlight that she was like, I'm ready to have kids or whatever.
Yeah.
She should have done it then. Like, and also
Yeah.
like if Rhys is such a strategist, he should have like been like, oh,
Thought
you
about
should
that
do
before.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
No, that's definitely a weak. It's a weak
It's
plot.
weak. It's
Hmm.
very
I
weak.
agree.
It's very weak. Even throughout ACOTAR, I see these weak things. And I'm like, why? The rest of the story is so strong. It doesn't need these things except to like make the books longer. Like
I think
I
the
don't know.
romance
It
is
just makes no
strong.
sense to me.
I think the romance is strong. I don't think like a lot of the plots are like super, super strong, except when it comes to like the bone carver. Like I was so surprised when the person Feyre saw, the little boy, was her little boy. Like that was pretty good. But the rest is
Yeah.
it's just about the romance. Yeah.
It's just that whenever I see stuff like that, I lose a little bit of respect for the writing ability or the
See,
editing or what. I don't know.
Hmm.
I
I don't know what that
don't
is.
I don't lose respect. But maybe that's because I am again a highly sensitive person because I've read books that or series that the authors are they're cruel. Like they I want to say
Good
something,
point.
but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin anything about a future book.
Okay.
But
I agree.
Crescent
I agree.
City.
yeah.
You're right.
Okay, yeah, don't say. Don't
No,
say. Don't
no,
say.
no,
Well,
no, no, no.
no. It's
Not
actually not
SJM. Not
Oh,
not
okay.
SJM.
SJM. Yeah,
All
she
hail
knows
the queen.
exactly. All hail. She knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There are some authors that are like,
They're cruel.
Well,
They're
like Game of Thrones style, like R.
yeah,
Martin.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Good
basically.
example. Yeah,
So,
Hmm.
because I'm reading to escape, I will take SJM and authors like that over that author
I
I'm
agree.
talking about
Yeah.
any day. So,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
you see a weak plot, I go, thank you for writing. Thank you so much. I need this book.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm okay generally because I still think that SJM is the queen. I've felt that way even with
Hmm.
those little problems. But I just think that you can actually take those things completely out of the book and still have an amazing book.
Well, I think if that was taken out of the book, like Reese and Feyre would not have needed to be in the book. So I think it was a way of keeping them relevant and still in
That's,
the plot. I was so happy when it switched over to Nesta. I was like, finally, I don't have to read about Feyre and freaking Reese anymore. I was like so done with them.
yeah, I do think that SJM kept Reese and Feyre in because, okay, I think that half the readers out there hate Nesta the way probably Melissa hates Reese, and the other half are like me and are like, oh my god, she's me. Like we just identify ourselves
Yeah.
as her. So if there's gonna be a whole book about her, I guess that SJM would want the more of like loved characters entwined, so it's not all just Nesta. And
Yeah, maybe. I don't get why people hate Nesta so much.
I don't either.
people
I
are
think
just haters.
Especially,
we need that point of view because, like, I don't see, I never hated her.
I never hated her either.
I can see how she
Look,
was cruel in the first one, like being the older
Yeah, yeah.
sister, not taking responsibility, being like, it's the things she would say were kind of nasty, and then
Melissa,
obviously, yeah.
Are you a little sister
No.
of
Oh
your
yeah, I am.
siblings?
Yeah, but I only have
Okay.
brothers.
Okay. Well, just I guess just try and imagine because right now I'm trying to put myself in my sister my she's 3 years younger than me, my sister's shoes.
Yeah.
I could see her hating Nesta, like feeling like
Used.
yeah,
I see it, right? But like I think, especially with her book, it gives you so much insight into her, how her mother was really the one who raised her in a way to find a rich man, right? Like, you're going to be a
yeah.
queen, and the dancing, how she was so poised and elegant, and like that was
Hmm.
all part of her training, and you
I
know, I don't know.
there are some people out there who can read like, okay, yeah, like you had trauma in your life. Okay, so like be better.
Mm,
Why are you acting like this? Be a better person. And my mom's heard me talk about this all the time because that's literally how I react when
mm,
I think people are not acting in line with how I think they should be, which is just basically just a good human being.
yeah.
That this is how I am. I'm like, yeah, okay, so you went through trauma. Like everyone goes through trauma. Get over it. Figure it out. That's your responsibility. Be a better person. Do better.
But I do think like that figuring it out phase is where she's in. And it
Yeah, and
takes
I'm saying that there are people out there who will read Nessa's character and they are unforgiving people, and so they
mm,
don't like her. And
mm.
I have to say that I would probably be that if I didn't see myself in that character.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it's like a lot of people are having a hard time forgiving her for what she did to Feyre. Is maybe that's why
Yeah.
people don't like
Because
her.
because if
Mm.
Feyre's the main character in most of, when you begin the series, right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
you grow an attachment to her, and when people are mean to the main character, you hate
Okay, maybe it's because we found Feyre annoying then. Like,
them.
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm also quite forgiving, I think. So it's like people make mistakes, like she poor thing, like she didn't have her mother, like her father wasn't very present. Like I don't know, I see it differently. Like I see Nesta as like very flawed, very misguided, like figuring it out.
I feel like Nesta feels lost. She feels like she has no control over anything in her life. She's in the wrong place. Um, she doesn't like anybody around her except Elaine. She loves
She
Elaine.
loves Lane.
Um, yeah, and she's attracted to Cassian, but he's Fey, and everybody is just nasty,
He's not
right?
even
So she
Fae.
fights. Well, he is Fey,
I
but
thought.
not a high Fey.
Oh,
He's
okay.
Eledrins. Yeah,
Okay.
Illyrians?
Eledrins are like still Fey, but they're like a lower
Lower
caste of
caste Fae.
some
Okay.
sort.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
while you continue, I'm just gonna fact check that. So continue.
Okay. So I just think that she is angry for all kinds of things. She was raised to be a princess, and
yeah.
she is not just disappointed, but like, crushed by the fact that she's never got that. And even crushed that Feyre, the youngest, should be a high lady at this point.
Oh, you think
So
she's
there's all of
jealous?
that. That definitely those things are there, but
Hmm.
what I see is actually her arc, and I see where she is and where she grows with her friendships, with the love in her life. She grows, and
Yeah.
she accepts who she is, and she accepts, um you know, she actually accepts her own flaws. She was
Yeah.
most upset about her own flaws,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
That's
she
what
was.
was bothering her more than anything else.
Yeah.
And then she gets to a place where she accepts it.
Well,
And once she does that, then her arc is, I mean, that's where she blossoms and
yeah.
she becomes who she's meant to be. So
Yeah.
I see her whole personality not as a nasty person, but
No.
somebody who is hasn't found herself yet,
And I think
hasn't
that's why we
understood
like
her and
her.
accepted.
Yeah, that's why we
Yeah.
like her. And
Yeah.
maybe people are only seeing her as that like flawed person, and that's why they don't. But I want to go back to that thing you said about her being jealous of Feyre, because I actually disagree. I never thought she was jealous of Feyre, of her being a high lady, a queen, whatever you want to call it. I thought, and this is kind of why I like Nesta as well. She's just like very, blunt and says it as it is. And she's like, she sees that this whole like Fae thing as beneath her. Like she's like, I don't care that you're Fae. I don't care that you're a queen of the Fae. Like, who are the Fae? They were nobody to me up until a month ago. You know, I was gonna be a queen, and now I'm not. And like that, I think that's what, that's why I don't think she's jealous.
But you don't think that's jealousy in a way?
I don't
Feyre has
know.
gotten to a place where she has not yet even found herself.
Cause she doesn't,
So I think it's not,
mhm.
she's not, I'm not saying, maybe jealousy is the wrong word. Maybe it's envy. Like she sees other people fitting,
Yeah.
um, finding themselves being who, being okay with themselves, and then she's not. So
Yeah, I do
is
see
that
that.
jealousy or
No,
is that envy?
I do
Yeah.
see her and what you said. Like, it's like she's seeing all these people fitting to this new life, right? But I think it's more like rejection, like she's rejecting this new life that was imposed upon her, right? Of being Fae and everything that comes with it. But I didn't think she was jealous because I didn't think she ever really even cared about being Fae or a queen of the Fae. This is just my personal opinion. I think she, after what happened to her dad, is just an extremely like regretful person. She feels all the weight of those years that she spent with him crash down on her, and how poorly she, one, treated him, but also truly saw him, right? And realizes that she doesn't have her parents anymore. She doesn't have her sisters the way she used to anymore, and she doesn't have her life the way she used to anymore. So now, um, it's not about fitting in, it's about grieving that loss. And the way that she's grieving is by rebelling, right? And eventually she steps into the healing and accepting. But I think it's just extreme regret. Like she's not wanting to speak to anybody after her father died, right? Because we see Nesta opening up to her Fae life in the book, the fourth book, right? She's helping Feyre. She's going to these meetings, whereas Elaine isn't doing any of these things, right? Then we see her dad die, and Feyre regresses and starts acting out. And then the whole book continues. She like heals, and then what's the ending of Nesta's book? Her visiting her dad at the grave and putting it to bed.
True.
I think it all has to do with her father. Like nothing with Elaine or
You may well be right.
yeah, or Feyre.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you
That's
may
my
well be
opinion.
right. I was going to say it's the human condition, but it's the Fae condition.
By the way, Illyrians are considered Fae, but they are a specific warrior race within the Fae world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say something I thought of? Um, so I realized that Melissa actually spoiled something for me, but I didn't like, yeah, I didn't really pick up on it. Or like, I remember being like, why did she say that? That's weird. But then I was like, she probably like just said the wrong thing. And then I was reading Empire of Storms, and I was like, oh my god, that's what she
Wait, what did I
What?
say?
What was it?
Okay, so we were talking about our favorite characters, right? And then you were like Dorian, and then we kept talking and talking, and then someone had brought up Rowan, and then you were like, "Oh, see, I would have said Rowan, but he already has a mate, so I don't want to start controversy." And then I was like, "But his mate's dead." But like then we learn.
Oh my God. Oh, okay, but I think you could have thought it was his wife.
Oh, Leary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
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 okay.
that's what I was like, oh, okay, so, but no, but she's
Yeah,
dead.
you
But I was
had
like,
it
she
right.
probably,
Yeah. Oh shoot, sorry, I didn't realize.
We all can do that.
Yeah.
It
no, I'm
happens.
terrified. If I ever spoil something for someone, I will never forget it. I will remember for the rest of my life, and I'll feel so bad.
Well, I
This is
okay.
this is Julia.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was reading Crescent City, right? And I was like, I read about Connor, and I'm like, ooh, it's on. Connor is the guy. But then I saw Hunt, and I'm like,
So I spoiled it for you.
I'm like, okay, I can cut, but it's fine because Connor died like immediately after. But I'm like, okay, Hunt is definitely gonna be the guy. He has to be. But yeah, but that's fine. It wasn't too
No.
bad.
Wait, actually, I have to say, when I was editing that episode, I think my favorite part of that whole episode was Melissa was like, "Who's that?" Or like, no, you were like, "Oh, I haven't met him yet," and then Mom goes, "Oh, you will."
Yeah, she actually sent that to me. I was like, sorry.
So funny. Good times.
So should we close court?
I think so. I think we're done.
Court is now adjourned.
Okay.